privilege to be here to welcome you all for this conference on the AI. Actually, Anil has put a very nice map how we go for the AI applications in the pharma. We used to say earlier that AI is a futuristic. Now it is knocking on our doors, or it has already come into your life, already working on this. And how this is going to change whole world, particularly pharma, in pharma places, how it is going to change, that we have to see. And that's what we expect from this discussion. Something coming up, something changes. Some changes have been done by some people. Some people are planning to do some changes in their manufacturing. And it is across pharmaceutical field. It is not just R&D or development, formulation development, manufacturing, quality control, quality assurance. You name the area and supply chain, everywhere it will come into the existence. Now, how we want to work responsibly on this so that it doesn't go into the bad hands and will not create the problem for all of us. FDA, recently I was told that they have given warning letter to the company because they said that we did not do the validation of that particular thing because our AI fellow said, you don't do it. So that reference was given and they got a warning letter for that. So we have AI, but we need to use it very responsibly and properly after studying everything else. I was also told that in AI, sometimes ChatGPT gives the answers which are not true. It means it falsifications sometimes happens. So there you have to give the prompt that if you don't know, don't tell us. That's okay. Don't give us the wrong answers to us. This has also happened in this case. So I think there is the question before us is no longer whether AI will change our industry, but how we adapt it responsibly. That's what I was talking about. Now we'll go to the questions. We have got a very strong panel here. How many years? 200 years experience or something like that. Not able to hear? Over the next hour, we will explore not only where AI stands today, but more importantly, where it is taking the pharmaceutical industry over the next decade. Also, there are a lot of apprehensions regarding AI. Basically, it will replace the people and we will have the problems. A lot of jobs will be out from this. So that also we'll discuss when we are discussing together. So first, let me begin with the question. First question, every panelist I want you to answer. In 1 minute, what is the single biggest opportunity AI presents for the pharmaceutical industry? We can start with this.
The single biggest thing, as already Anil ji has explained, from a reactive mode, the AI is going to help us to predictive mode in terms of a process, in terms of all the areas. So this is a single sentence answer for the question. Thank you.
The biggest opportunity or the advantage what we see is operational excellence will happen over a period of time.
I see a lot of simplicity coming in processes and speed also falling into organizations due to AI interventions.
So I'll try to provoke. The pharmaceutical industry I find is full of arrogance and a sense of, for each function I know it all. I think when properly deployed, that's a key phrase, AI will help us understand the data much better without the layer of arrogance and actually help us arrive at better decisions. And then hopefully do much more for patient safety than collectively our record speaks for itself. It's a bad record. So, and that's shielded by our arrogance. So I hope we become less arrogant and more humble. And that's something which AI will help us achieve.
I think good evening everyone. In a short, I would say that in a business, to achieve the competitive advantage, AI is making a change. AI is bringing a change to have a quality-driven decisions as well as it has an impact on efficiencies. But if I just see the point, I think we are moving to the predictive manufacturing. We are moving for a quality intelligence using couple of AI use cases. We are moving for world-class supply chain management or supply chain resilience, and how we go for data-driven decisions based on analytics which is coming from AI. In short, I think we are moving from predictive to, reactive to predictive, and finally we want to go to the autonomous situations. And we'll have a more detailed discussions, but the desired state will be a autonomous situations where we are pulling the data, you have a data foundations, all data is talking to each other, and you are moving on analytics, and based on analytics, you take the decisions.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let us talk about the current reality, what is happening in the AI. Many companies have launched AI, if you see. But whether it is genuinely transformation is happening or it is just showing somebody that we are doing something. So I think, would you like to answer?
If you ask me, the AI everybody wanted to do, but how we are going to implement. We are in the journey of digitalization. I think most of the companies have matured in now digital in a journey, digitalization. Now your next level is actually transformation through AI processes. There are a lot of open AIs available. They said actually, ChatGPT gives and all. These all open AIs actually. Your data is a possibility to go out. Now, we have to build our own platform to protect your data, number one. Number two, regulatory acceptance of this, right? Today, you all have done it, it could be investigation as Anilji was mentioning about, or any predictive analytics. It's all driven by the data which is collected manually and done by the humans. Now, using a technology, where you build your own algorithms, how do we say that actually, how do we validate those processes to say the outcome coming out of AI is right, the GenAI report which is getting generated out of it. So that's a challenge actually. Currently there is no guideline per se. Of course, there are some guidelines have already published, but still actually we'll have to validate that actually. I think it will take some time because as an industry, Part 11 compliance, we took almost 20 years to, identify the lacunas which we are having in an electronic system. I think similarly, the AI journey also now they started and started adopting, in multiple areas, small areas. But as you also asked question about across the organization, all levels. So this is what we are thinking of actually. So being in a CDMO industry, working with the innovators, we are also thinking of implementing in across, be it by discovery as well as in the CMC business. So the journey started, but still will a lot to be done in the AI journey. That's a short answer to your question.
Girish, you would like to add?
I mean, we are not having a structured data gathering it. That's a major flaw what we have seen. It's in a silos. And everybody has got its own technology and data driven. But of course, we are using AI built in long way previously, 10, 15 years back onwards. But we are talking about only the name, that's it. But rest all is same. But it will be giving more in-depth space where currently humans cannot touch that. That's only difference what we see. But people are doing pilot. And I think in the worldwide, only 10 to 11% people are, organizations are doing it worldwide. So it's in a pilot stage still. Okay. In India, it is still pilot stage. And of course, in multinational or maybe innovator companies, they are doing little more ahead of us. Yeah.
Madhu, anything you would like to add?
So I think like any change, humans will be the rate determining steps on. So the uptake of not just AI, even the very habit building of reaching out to any digital solution as an alternative, a viable alternative to a typical brick and mortar world kind of decision making that we have traditionally been given to them. You would always see the difference happening between individuals who happen to be who graduate quickly from early adopters to evangelists, versus people who tend to wait and watch. Generally, as an industry, possibly because we are dealing with patient safety, we have been conservative with our approach. All our guidances, everything has come from other industries, practically, whether it is a quality guidance or whether it is an equipment maintenance guidance or anything else in between. Today, the generic pharma is learning from, auto manufacturing, auto parts manufacturing, from mechanical engineering companies, and from FMCGs on how to be more efficient. And we are trying to, there's a lot of talk about operation excellence and of late in a more structured manner. So I think everybody, every individual has a role to, can do something in this space. That is the beauty, what I see about AI today. Everybody has access to Copilot or their equivalents today, and I'm sure they're using it in their personal space too. What we see misgivings are more around articulating the problem well. There are some early guidance available I came across a guidance from the FDA on use of AI on GXP applications. MHRA has recently started talking about it. And I would say the GAMP4 principles continue to remain as our guiding principles for inculcating the AI applications in the GXP space. I would start small and make progress steadily. The role of the senior management is super important over here. How much, how often, and how consistently they reach out to use of the digital infrastructure and the applications, and thus in turn place expectations, leading by example from their team in turn to keep on using it. That's how I think the organization will gain muscle in this direction. And as far as whether it is happening, possibly it's happening in few companies consistently, possibly it's happening in pockets in other companies, but I can see active application of all these tools, right from product ideations up, right down to market profiling and looping back any information back into the supply chain as well, and everything in between. Thank you.
Prashant, you would like to add?
So, I know a little more about AI than I did around 6 months back. We recently appointed a big consulting organization to help us in the journey over the next 5 years. And I realized in the discussions, I knew nothing. So one is, AI is like, not a good comparison, but it's like SAP. Either you have it across the organization, you cannot do it in parts. I disagree with anybody who says you can do it in parts and bits and pieces. You need to bring all your organizational data on what we loosely call a data lake, right? You need to establish a proper ontology. You need to establish a proper knowledge graph for you to make sense, for your BMR to be reviewed, right? Is it connected to LIMS? Is it connected to TrackWise? Is it connected to Documentum? Is it able to call upon the latest SOP revision, then look at all the deviations? How do you do it in bits and pieces? I don't understand, right? So what it means is, large organizations are sitting on this platform. I think, like you said, 200 years, maybe 5 lakh crores of market cap is sitting on this, on this. Now, for even organizations of this size, it would mean, in my loose estimate, a company like Zydus, Dr. Reddy's, Amneal would need to spend nothing short of 400-500 crore rupees just to establish the infrastructure to start using AI properly. Or don't use it. If anybody thinks here ignorantly, using ChatGPT is using AI, please, it is not. Right? But for most of us, putting a BMR up in ChatGPT and saying, please review this BMR up for me, even with a very good prompt, it is not using AI. So, yeah, you can do it. So, are the organization there? I don't think anybody in India is there. I don't think anybody in India has established the right ontology across the organization, they have a data graph, they have an institutionalized context to interpret the data, right? So it doesn't exist today. From my very, very limited understanding, I'm happy to learn from somebody, if somebody can tell me, no, this organization has established this, so that's one. The other thing is, you had asked a question, and you got a bad and wrong answer, the cost of AI. If anybody here thinks, again, out of ignorance, again, when I'm saying out of ignorance, I realize how ignorant I was 6 months back. I felt like an idiot, complete idiot 6 months back, that I knew nothing. The OPEX of AI will be more than the CAPEX of AI.
More than?
CAPEX of AI. If you think that you'll buy a solution for 2 crore rupees, and let's say you say, I will reduce 3 QA people who are now IPQA people who are doing BMR review, you may discover 6 months later that you were using tokens worth 3 times the salary of a person to do the review. People in the world have right now curtailed the use of AI because of the use of tokens. People don't understand it, right? So it's a buzzword. People like to talk about it, their panels, but that's a separate discussion.
I was told that ROI is not coming in the...
We do not know. Nobody knows. Unless you have established real use cases, and we'll again talk about like investigations, I will share with you my experience.
Okay.
But there's much to be understood. We have not even scratched the surface. Companies like Dr. Reddy's are far ahead of most Indian companies in digitalization. I don't know about AI. Digitalization, definitely. Right? But I'm very happy to learn from them because they were the ones who made the expensive ones, and now we are buying the cheaper ones, thanks to them.
I think when any new topic comes like AI, the first question comes is that who is the technology provider? Who are the best in class? Second, which are the companies are using? Third, what are the areas we use this, right? And fourth, whether it is realistic or not. And fifth, the COGS and impact and all. So I just touched base on, all the top big pharmas like Merck, Eli Lilly, Pfizer. They are working on the drug discovery part. Most of them, they are not working on small things. So drug discovery, digital twin, I think most of the company are working on these 2 areas. Now, who are the people who has the best technology? See, Google is one who is spending a lot of money, whether it is Google Alphabet or Google Mind. And I agree with Prashant. I just want to jump into that point before I forget. I think the amount of AI agent cost based on the usage, the capital cost is nothing. But when you have one project and use that AI agent, and if you have a cumulative, that cumulative cost is in $1 million based on the solutions. But who are the people in the industry? There are TCS, McKinsey also has certain solutions, Accenture has solutions. There are good company, they have a solution, they are working with the big pharma. Coming back to the pharma in India is always a buzz. And many people are in a race that, we are implementing AI, we are putting AI on a board, we have this impacts. But I would say that we are not in drug discovery, we are not in digital twins. We are today, what we have is we have predictive maintenance. The simple one, what Anil talked on the quality intelligence part, where we put all BMR, BPR, the LIMS data, it go through an AI engine, and based on that, it gives an observation that, what is wrong, so that the amount of time goes on a review, it comes with an analytics from the AI. I think we are more on that side. But the most important, I think what is reliable and validated one, if you go to the WF site, that is World Economic Forum site, they publish that what are the AI use case, what is the impact, who has implemented this. And if I just go through that, the top 10, I think first is AI-based visual inspection. So optical vision system to minimize the false rejection, because I don't want to name the company again, any visual inspection in injectable, you get 8 to 10% rejections. And they are mostly 9% out of that are the false rejection. Hardly 1% or less than 1% is the real rejection. Based on your product quality, obviously. You have to have a robust product which is designed properly and processed properly. And then I can say that it will not cross 1%. But machine has certain capability, right? Certain micron size, based on the dynamic condition, it rejects. So one is AI-based optical vision system. That's number one use case used in the industry. Second is yield base. There are AI use case where we can improve the yield based on defining the CPP, CPV, continuous process parameter, as well as continuous process verification. Third area is the predictive maintenance, which is very, very simple. You have an IoT sensors, you put it on your machine, which is get integrated and you get the data. So it tells you that failure, tentative failure, so that you address it. Next is the supply chain part. Maybe many people has an IBP or PPDS or Connect 6. There are AI solution which is giving you your scheduling, your demand, your planning and scheduling, so that overall your executions are in right time and you get that benefits. So there are a couple of real use cases of AI, but again it depends on organization, what is their thought process and how they implement. And it is not only the person based or skill based. I'm telling you, and many of them touch base. I'll touch base the digital foundation, because as Prashant said, it cannot go with one single function. Your manufacturing, your engineering, whether it is black utility, clean utility, your quality, your supply chain, everyone has to talk to each other. So you have to have a right digital foundation, so you build the right use case and you can use it.
Thank you. I think some of the questions are
Already answered. You can create more questions.
okay. Is any one of you have personally seen AI delivering measurable business value? Any example if you can quote? And it could be anything, manufacturing, quality assurance, predictive maintenance, whatever.
I would not say AI, but digital. Currently, it's a next level of it. But when we implemented an electronic batch record, everybody has cared about how to do it. But we have currently, so far, we have done 4,500 plus batches, and then we could able to see only 4 deviations. Whereas in the manual we are doing on the other side, it gives me 20% of the deviations, which are manual human error. That's completely eliminated now. That's one of the greatest advantage. Okay, people call it as a digitalization, but yes, it is in that scenario.
So we are working on a use case. We are at a fairly advanced stage, so it's yet to be commercialized, let's say. Now, but I'll refer to what you said. AI can hallucinate, what is hallucination for most of us? My crude understanding is, if it doesn't know something, it will pretend it knows and it will give you some answer. Right? So, now investigations, Anil spoke about them. And most AI solutions are very inferior in investigations. For those of you who know Excel, it is a crude VLOOKUP at best of your past investigations. So what it will do is, it will digest your past investigations. If you are, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 6, it will ensure that you remain 6, because it will look at, okay, this is what your past root cause was, this is likely to be a root cause, etc., etc. Now, we never wanted to do this. We met an organization. Now, we had a batch, we had an OS, we thought we solved it. 6 months later, we discovered after another OS in the same product that we had not solved it. We took a kappa again. And this time we got it right. So when this company approached us, we said, we will give you whatever data was there in the first, nothing more than what we knew in the first instance. And they solved it. And this guy is not a pharma guy. He's an MIT engineer. He's not a pharmaceutical. And this is also, I will keep making these snide remarks on pharmaceutical arrogance, right? So then what we understood is this. In this case, his tool ties up with paid and free sites across. Now, somewhere in the world, if there's a formulation, somebody would have done a PhD on that API. Somebody would have done a PhD and written patents on an FBD. Somebody would have got a patent on RMG. Somebody would have, his own life would have been spent on the interaction of humidity and a particular excipient. So what it does is, it refers to all of these published and available literature across the world, and therefore it takes time. And therefore it costs money, because it will then cost you more. It is processing more data. Now with that, it told us that a particular excipient misbehaves at a particular RH level. Now, this highest level was within the validated range, but all of us sitting on this room, and we know that validation is never comprehensive. We don't, for practical reasons, we don't validate across each range point, right? So you will look at, okay, midpoint you have 2% batch on this and 2% batch on this end, and mostly. So then, and same for the QC, right? The challenge with golden batch, which I'm still throwing back to my AI design. So to your answer, we have a very promising use case in investigations. And the second is golden batch. Now, golden batch is an abused term, and everybody has a golden batch. But what it does in my mind, and happy to get corrected, is it look at a snapshot of the past history, and it will tell you, basis this history of, let's say you have made 1,000 batches, out of which 100 were really good. Basis those 100, it will tell you, these are your CPPs. It's crap. It will not get you anywhere. The moment one of the parameters changes from API, the PSD changes, your golden batch is now bronze batch. So then suddenly you will say, what happened? Why does it go? Then you say the operator, QA will say operator would have done something. Because the QA does not know better. Right? And QA is again one of the least qualified teams in the entire companies anyway, in terms of no disrespect, right? But I always challenge, you remember, right? I said, chala lo machine ek baar. So, Jiten bolenga, main to chalata hu. No, but this is again, just to keep these things light. What I'm trying to say is that when you talk of AI, my request is please be very, very conscious of, don't divorce it with natural intelligence. So
Limitations of the whole thing.
everything is limitation. Humans first and then.
Yeah.
Well, AI will eventually feed on you, na? AI, where will AI? Eventually, some paper that you've written, some data that you've created, AI will not. But the point is, yes, when it does not, then it hallucinates. Then it will anyway give you an answer. If you have that rightly, if the prompt is not.
Sandeep?
No, I think I'll just go very basic. I don't repeat. We talk a lot. We are building our own GPTs to have our centralized data. If I say XYZ person, it comes with all the data, the skill set, expertise, training, what has been due. So one is that you can have your own GPT in organization. Second is my past experience, I think we touch base, but the critical product where you define the recipes, not only the base on that, but the design of experiment, what has been done, what is, let's say, 100 or 200 batches parameters, and the analytical results, combining everything, how we build that recipe and reproduce that recipe, that's one of the area for critical product.
Yeah. My experience is actually started the journey a couple of years back. Okay, as Prashant mentioned, I'm an MIT. Okay, so those guys actually come and said, actually, we'll crack the your problems like golden batch or deviation management. It took us almost 1.5 years to build that. To understand the data, structure the data first. Structuring of the data took a long time because it's all disconnected actually. So then now we scrap that entirely. Okay, as already you mentioned, there are 4 projects which are currently being done. Started actually is we are building our own data lake. Okay, and connecting all from the discovery, from the CMC, the manufacturing, engineering. That's the first part actually, mainly in layer with ontology. Okay, that's one project is going on. Asked about experience. I'm just sharing the experience. Whatever you have done it, we said actually we realized that it was wrong. We were going in the wrong direction. Stopped it. Going back, entirely we are doing data lake. Through this actually the entire workflow of all the processes actually we are building in a platform. We are building our own platform as even Sandeep mentioned about. And third is actually, from there actually AI assisted, we have a lot of dashboards already, we already digitized a lot of processes, but AI assisted, the control towers we call it as actually, we are building that. The fourth is actually DocGen, actually. It could be investigation or SOP generations. These are the 4 things actually is currently being, in progress, all these things in our organization.
Thank you. Girish, this question is for specifically for you. Within pharmaceutical manufacturing, where do you believe AI can create a big impact over the next 5 years? Can AI significantly improve OE, yield, quality, energy efficiency, downtime reduction? And can you give some examples also?
Yeah, it will, as we mentioned earlier with Prashant sir and all, but definitely it will be challenging. And whenever we talk about AI, we feel that it's a IT business. So we should not be at that, but it's a top-driven thing. Leadership should be there, and then cross-functional teams. Then, as you said, everything will intact, and whatever OE or efficiency or the kappa management, your investigations, everything will come in place. But the only thing is, you need to have a right people, and then your IT infrastructure, everything should be known. I mean, it should be a deep dive. It cannot be temporary job, or it's not a side kind of thing. But you should really touch upon and completely put people in the real direction. Then it will be next 5 years. Definitely, it will replace so many things. In our case,
It looks like a god.
I mean, it's not, but human intervention has to be there every time. But it will give a lot of insights to the people who can really see the data, which we don't see day to day, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah, but
Data has to be right, no?
that's what the
If
structured
data is
one.
poor, your output will be also bad.
There's a fair data and poor data, but we have to have a fair data, which is transparent. If you don't do that, then AI will make you hell out of questions. I mean, regulators will challenge, and then you get 483 warning letters and then shut down one day. But it's not 5 years it doesn't take, but it will stop it in 2 years.
Anybody would like to add, Madhu?
So the simple answer, yes, there is an application in every part of the pharmaceutical world for AI. I can completely understand the skepticism around how much it will help us or not. And again, I still maintain my optimism around what AI can do in pharma. At times when pharmaceutical manufacturing claiming to safeguard patient safety is struggling to maintain even a Six Sigma consistency in their approach, I have seen industries, I have seen factories where a 9 Sigma level of consistency is required, and they are using AI. So
Particularly
I go back to my original point that we as an industry continue to be learners from people who have already trodden this path. Okay. Yes, there are, the intelligence would depend upon how you apply it for your field, whereby it meets your expectations, whereby it checks all the boxes that is required, to meet patient safety. So you pick a field, and I'll probably tell you what I have read, seen, or done in what AI has done, whether it is. But I think the conversation on what digital can do is getting oversimplified into just AI. There are various gradients of this maturity. You probably begin with something as simple as that pop-up window which comes when you open a real estate website, and it asks you, can I help you, or something like that, or your bank. That is the lowest form of digital that do is a robotic process automation. You can migrate to say how data can be mined, and you could convert them into advanced analytics. Yes, AI will begin with the body of data. The data will be the oil that the AI engine will run. So there is no fooling that if you are making any meaningful progress on AI, you need to have a high fidelity of data repository. Now, some companies started early and some companies started late based on what they can do. It is expensive, completely agree with you. We spoke about how it is expensive, and so therefore it should be meaningfully deployed, which is why the FDA, you began this whole conversation around how the FDA wrote up some company on, mindlessly using AI. We also heard how Anil spoke about having the human in the loop when a decision is to be made, because that's a little bit of a primacy. But let's look at it, look at ourselves in a situation where Steve Jobs launched his first iPhone when BlackBerry was ruling the roost. And he says there's no need for any keypad on your phone. And today, I don't think anybody has got a keypad on their phone today. So it's two parts, two ways of looking at it. So I am very optimistic about what it can do and what it has done so far. I think every day I see there's a new frontier being talked about. And the very first machine learning publication happened in 1969. And what held it back was the infrastructure until NVIDIA could do it. So there will be some impediment, and when mankind crosses it, it will be a far beautiful world than what we see today. But this is not about the future. There are examples in equipment maintenance, like you mentioned. There are examples in quality, manufacturing, and so on. But I'll just take one example, sir. And again, I'm taking an example of visiting a site in Bangalore, an auto parts manufacturer. I think while we are all talking about how AI can do work on doing fantastic investigations, I think it's a super lag indicator. How can I enable my operator to perform the duty right first time there? And if there is a problem out there, and can I troubleshoot it with real time? So I saw this agent over there at work live, and they've been using it for the last 3 years. They are the #1 auto part manufacturer across the world, and I saw the Bangalore factory there. There are 7 or 8 manual steps done to assemble that component, and they have recognized the number of human errors that can happen over there. And they have, of course, sensorized it, collected a lot of data, position, whatnot, what else. And in real time, the operator is getting information on the statistics of the performance of his batch. And not just statistics of performance of the batch, but also an insight to do this to make it better, do this to make it better on real-time basis. Now, if I reach that place, I don't think you need quality at all, sir. Thank you.
Anybody who would like to add?
The way I look at it is, I divide entire operations into 3 parts. One is what I call this is my own framework. One is what I call making the pill. Now, making the pill, it relies more on process automation, wherein an AI will be a layer, so we'll talk about that. But with extensive process automation, you can reach what I would call a dark factory or semi-dark factory. We have a factory called SEZ2, wherein we have focused essentially on, so we have got 6,000 kgs batches, blah, 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 blah. And there we were able to achieve a cost per 1,000 of less than $2. Purely by focusing on process tech, no AI, zero AI there. The second layer, which what I call is outside the pill, that is where a lot of pharma organizations, pharma organizations were never innovators. Generics, we remained generics even beyond making the pill, right? So we were largely stealing, copying, getting inspired from FMCG. So what we copied from FMCG was packaging, warehouse. So we got it, borrowed it, or stole it from FMCG. There's never a business case in my mind. You can simplify things, but if you reduce 8 people to 2 people in a packaging line by robotics and all of that, it doesn't actually make a business case. But we like those toys. AMRs, AGVs, they look good on the shop floor. And we are able to say, listen, we have an automated factory. Similarly for the warehouse, right? So I've been to factories which will have AMRs, AGVs, people will really proudly showcase those things to them. I say, okay, can you show me the payback? 100 years. 100 years, like forever, right? That's outside the pill, and that's where mostly pharma automation happened initially. The third is what I call now beyond the pill. That is where AI, digital twins will come in. Now, coming to where, I think you gave a brilliant example. Computers began as assistive, or initially equipment were assistive. Like an oven will help you cook a cake earlier, faster, or a gas stove compared to a sigdi, right? So most machines were assistive. Then I think automation is taking it to assistive plus to an extent autonomous. Switch on the machine, you can step back, machine will keep running. A washing machine is a good example. Right? It is an autonomous operation. You switch on and at that. Where I think AI will play a role is on the shop floor is recommendatory. So a true golden batch will respond to the actual data of CMAs and say basis this CMAs, and those the CMAs will be the CMA of an input will become the CQA for the CQA for the output. That CQA will become the CMA for the next. So granules quality will become the CMA for compression, and your compressed tablet will become the CMA for coating, so on and so forth, right? And a true golden batch will keep responding to each CMA. So if you find a drift in the PSD, your granulation parameters should change. It cannot be static. So the operator would then be rightly told. So what we are working on is very simple use cases. Zyada kuch aata nahi hai. For example, can user manuals go on AI mode? If I have a problem, can I ask AI, I am stuck as an operator, what do? I do not know. Because the problem is supervisor also does not know. So he does not know, so therefore deviations are hushed. Because if you go to a supervisor, if he is my supervisor, he comes to me, main kya karu? Pata nahi, kar le yaar. Right? So half the deviations are not even logged because we do not know how to write a deviation or address a deviation, or that's a root cause. So I think a lot of that knowledge, see, knowledge is very simple, but knowledge was made an edge. Knowledge will not be an edge. It will be the most democratically free thing available to you on the shop floor. All of your SOPs will be easily digestible. The entire knowledge graph will be easily digestible. So I think that will happen. The future factory, in my mind, my take is, there will be just few operators, and a sighted.
Changeovers.
आप अपना job देख लो.
For changeovers, nothing else.
Sighted will be statutory, but he may also be an AI agent for part of it. So, but I will not name, but my MD met one of the biggest IT guys in the world. That picture is on the video. So anyway, so he said, this guy, one of the most visionary IT person of the world, running one of the largest companies in the world, I think the CEO's role will be replaced by AI in future. Because the CEO, all of us, have a very limited ability to, in an unbiased way, process data. Multiple things. One is ability to process multivariate data. Second is unbiased. AI will do it for you anyway. Now, what you do is whether a human will finally decide whether I will actually have a factory only being run by operator. Because till now, technology has only challenged blue-collar people. It is the first time in the history that white-collar jobs are at risk. And therefore, all of this panel is sitting here. Kya kare bhai? Job kaise bachaye?
I think I just take a couple of seconds on this. So the yield, predictive, quality, intelligence, they are very common and everyone is testing. The most important area will be the sterile, where smoke study, we're using AI, computational fluid dynamics, or designing your interventions on media fill, counting that intervention, how many operators, how many intervention, have you missed out anything? And third big area is the capability building, which is very, very basic thing. Like your SOP training, your module training, how we building that training modules, or how we building that capability to that every individual using AI, which is the key, which will build the organization. To Prashant's point on these recipes and all, I think, Prashant, there are, and I mentioned it is a digital fundamentals or digital database. So when you say recipe, if my golden batch will fail, if my starting material is not within that range. So there is always an application for that. Even your starting materials, you get the train, whether it is within that train, forget about auto specification. But if it is within that trained or not, it help you to choose, and it is linked. So everything has to link. Yeah. So there are very new areas where we can use. And I just want to mention FDA now. FDA developed their own AI-based use case, using for two areas. One is ECTD modules verification, and second is the medical devices. See, they have many offices. It doesn't mean that they implemented across all the offices. They started with one office for ECTD verification or medical device verifications. absorbed that use case, and when they found, oh, it is really working, they started using other offices. So it's again depend on your organization, depend on your applications, and depend on your impact. What impact you are getting from that, and what is that realistic or not?
I think we are on right time, 1 hour? 10 minutes, thank you. The pharmaceutical industry is regulated, right? Fully regulated by the FDA. And basically patient safety and compliance is our important things when we deal with the whole thing. So how do we balance innovation with regulatory expectations when implementing AI? That's one question. And how should companies validate AI systems before regulators gain complete confidence in them? Who would like to answer?
This regulatory expectation is a booth that pharma has, regulator has, he's a human. See, I don't see that as a challenge at
Not
all.
a issue.
Again, I will give an example. SZ2, which was a very different batch size, etc. We were afraid when we were offering that plan for US FDA. They didn't even come. They did a remote inspection of a different technology and different batch size. So it is typically pharma has been hiding behind this regulator and patient safety as an excuse to not innovate. It is simply a lazy industry, very, very lazy industry. And I will challenge, and this is my stand, some of you might have heard it, I will simply ask the same question. These pharma people say, I'm one pharmacist myself, right? That we are the custodians of quality everywhere. How many of you brush your teeth?
How many?
Nobody is raising the hand, so I presume nobody. So if you brush your teeth, right, you must have, at least from the age of 5, you would have a recollection of the toothpaste, right? Maybe till age. How many times have you found a black particle or a metal particle in toothpaste? Anybody? There must be a million instances of toothbrush usage in this room. All FMCG products are consumed 100%. India will consume the soap till the last, and then the last thin layer will be put onto another soap and then used. 100% soap is used, toothpaste is 100% used, toffee is 100% chewed. Suppository, right? We make suppositories, many of us. We will have issues of suppository shape. Which is the largest suppository manufacturer in the world? Which is the largest suppository? Cadbury's. Dairy milk is what? Suppositories, na? मुंह में जाती है. That's so. But now, which company does media fill on a daily basis? We do once in 6 months. We have challenges. Which are the companies which do media fill on a daily basis?
Media fill on daily basis.
Daily basis. Their business is media fill. Milk, Coke, Pepsi. Coke is what, 35% sugar?
They have got that itself a preservative.
Whatever it is. Point is, milk. Belapure Saab, 20,000 liters milk in a stainless steel container is transported. Right? You do imagine their type B cleaning. If the cleaning fails, milk will spoil.
Yeah.
Simple, the whole lot will spoil.
Yes.
And you look at our type B success rate. And who cleaned that type B container? Who clean milk container? A driver and a cleaner. Not with WFI. Not with purified water.
They have got a good system of the cleaning.
Whatever it is, I'm just saying, you please look outside. There are industries which are doing it, which are serving patient with, or customer, let's say, with much better quality standards, without hiding behind this regulatory booth and QA booth. That's my limited point. AI is definitely here. You better embrace AI or it will choke you. Better to embrace it. It is here. My only thing is, don't make this regulatory. See, this, or those of you, because my QA also said, sir, warning letter, yeah, that stupid idiot company did not do a validation. So the point is, don't say AI, they were using AI, therefore they got a warning letter. They were idiots and therefore they got warning letter. So nothing to do with AI. So, but because the white collar job is at risk, you will find all of these things, and that how do we make this a booth? and keep using the regulator as the proxy, the straw man to hide. He's a straw man.
Okay.
So and answer your question, actually, how regulator is looking at it. Agree with Prashant on all the various things. We had a QMM audit. They got done an assessment to this, and they've seen all the digital processes. They recommended to use next level of actually the use ES cases. Now, in this case, most of the regulations are come, okay, and they publish first, get the public opinion in the industry, and they roll out the rules. Here, the first time in the AI, I think 2023, regulators have come up, they've published a white paper. What kind of AI tool you wanted to use, where you wanted to use, please give us, suggestions. So this is the first time it's come. Unlike regulations, actually, they wanted to build this processes, right? So 2023, they have given a lot of companies participated, almost 43 companies participated. We one among them participated, given an opinion, okay. Now, I think they are very optimistic, okay, and asking industry, because they are also not very clear, because unlike our the cost softwares where you have to integrate with the instrument, getting the output, this is actually related develop on your own processes. Every company needs a different requirement. CDMO may require differently. Innovators may require different technology, and a generic company may require different processes to do that. So I think we have to, as an industry, all our in the industry, we have to go back to the FDA, discuss with them, and see this is the process we wanted to implement. I think they're very open-minded, actually. In the QMM assessment also, they said they're ready to set up a meeting, actually, when we develop the processes. They're ready to talk to us, actually, and see how they can help us to, accept the data which is generated by AI, with validated by us, actually. So to answer your question, yes, they are very open-minded. And we should not be afraid of regulatories, as Prashant also mentioned.
See, there is no AI versus the people. See, there is always combination of AI, machine learning, and the people. And any system, to your point, it has to be validated. So when you go for a system, the first question comes, is this system is GMP compliant or non-GMP compliant? And obviously it has to be GMP compliant today. There is no choice. The most important part is that the way you do the computer system validation, you have to have a full-scale GMP computer system validation for any AI use case. And that's all what FDA expect. See, AI doesn't take in final decisions. AI enable us to take a right and speedy decisions. I would say it will throw you the analytics out of the data, and the expert has to take a final decision. And what FDA look for, whether the qualified person has gone through this and whether the qualified person has taken the decision with the right quality system. Now, what is the basic tool they use, whether it is AI-based or paper-based, it doesn't matter. If you're using the AI-based, then you have to validate the system and you have to show that it's giving a similar result at n number of time.
I think this will be a last question to the panel. Afterwards, we'll open it for the...
Just 1 minute, sir.
You want to speak, please, sorry.
It's a very tough act to follow for whatever he said. In case of any skepticism among people, what the FDA would say. This happened around 2021 when both, I think, Zydus, Dr. Reddy's were on a digital transformation, basically what the investment we have done on digitalizing data. Now we are looking at use cases and the next level applications on whatever data we had gathered. And I am not very sure whether it's 22 or 23 when the FDA published a strategy deployment plan, Hoshin Kendry metrics, a 3-year plan to implement digital transformation within the FDA itself. And we heard how AI is being used by the FDA within its own offices. So I think any guidance or something that we are looking at how we are going to roll out AI in GXP applications. My guess is it's going to happen sometime sooner than otherwise. So maybe the next 2-3 years we should be getting very clear guidances on how to use AI in GXP space. If that is giving any comfort to the people listening here.
Last question to the panel. Then we'll open for the audience if they have got any questions. One concern employees have is whether AI will replace them. You see AI replacing people or augmenting people? What new skills should be learned by the people to remain in the business? That is the question.
So it's not going to replace people. I think it's going to assist, right?
Huh?
It's going to assist actually, or maybe it is going to. So you'll become more intelligent, is my opinion, because all the jobs actually, the transactional jobs will be taken over by AI. I think I'll be having more time to do analytics works actually, improve the processes, improve the efficiency of the various activities. Is my opinion.
It will augment, definitely.
Augment.
Yep.
There are diverse opinions.
but-
let us see.
Yeah, it's augment the people, but the only thing is you need to know the right, tool to understand it. If you don't understand it, it's simple. Once again, you will try to fail it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start with a slight digression, sir. I mean, when I was graduating from my college, the alumnus of the year of my college was Shri Arun Deveshwar, and he made one comment to all of us valedictorians. He said, when you buy a fan, okay, and a week later you go back and sell the fan, you're never going to get the same cost of selling the fan or the price at which you bought it. That is because the fan remains a fan. So it begins depreciating the second you have bought it. So, and then he goes on to say that humans are possibly the only people who probably gain value with every passing day because they have the ability to learn. Now, again, cut to the example I gave a little while ago about the smartphone. I mean, start from a feature phone, and we all know about the cliched thing that people talk about is where you have a clutter on your table and how that entire clutter got, consummated into a phone now. So we literally have many devices and many redundancies built into the phone today, and nothing more needs to be said there. So I think AI is going to be something like the smartphone for humans now. It gives us an opportunity and bandwidth to pick stuff that we seem to have been believing ourselves to be busy about. If we do a dialo of our own work as managers, I think at least 30% of the time we would be probably spending on the email, on the Outlook possibly, sending mails, reading mails or whatnot. And today one co-pilot query can sort out your mails into what you need to work upon and probably even formulate a response even. Nowadays, some of my team members write some extraordinarily drafted mails that take some minute for me to read and understand. And so I think stuff that we believe that we are busy about is quickly getting automated. Now, going back to what Shri Deveshwar said, are we ready to pick something else, something new? So the question comes as, what is it that AI can't do is read humans well. I mean, the language, the unspoken word of the human is something that AI can't read well. There was a meme just a few days ago where somebody wrote to Indigo in a sarcastic note on Twitter that congratulations for sending my baggage to Calcutta while I was going to Bangalore. And then there was a reply saying that, sir, thank you very much. And then he was like, are you serious? So AI, can it read sarcasm well? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe in that model that Indigo did, it doesn't read the sarcasm well. So reading humans and handling humans, motivating people to innovate in the field of AI and probably something beyond that we don't know today I think is where our work will be. Now that would mean will the role, I mean, Prashant spoke about the future of factories. There will be a bunch of people who will be needing to take care of the front line. It may be fewer than what we have today, but extensive automation comes at the expense of standardization as well. So if you're operating complex factory, a complex set of SKUs, maybe you would still need a few more people to run the front line as opposed to what you do today. But yes, a lot of routine stuff that we do, that we believe we are busy about today, will vanish soon. Thank you.
So,
Prashant.
I'll be more provocative than the first two gentlemen. But please Google, after you leave, a company called Dexterity. Dexterity. My core belief is that when industrial robotics and AI mate, that is going to be the revolutionary part. Have they mated? Yes, they've already mated. Self-driving cars are industrial robotics plus AI. And they have absolutely taken away the driver's job. Absolutely taken away, right? Just like ATM took away the job of tellers. Now, ATM is not an AI-enabled thing, but so now, what is dexterity trying to do? See, today, if there's a carton in front of us, and the two cartons, one may have eggs, one may have iron. A human being will, with tactile touch, figure out which is to be lifted with what weight. Can I lift it or not? And if I can lift both, which one should I stack on top of each other? Simply put, right? Dexterity is solving it. So they are creating robots which can load, unload trucks, conveyor belts, empty aircrafts, baggage, etc., knowing the difference between each bag using AI and robotics meeting. They're booked for the next 5 years by FedEx and Amazon. If I were to look at the two core jobs of any brick and mortar company is manufacturing and selling. These are the two, and everybody else, people in this room are overheads because without us, factories running and sales are happening. That means we are overheads. Now, with this basic understanding, let's look at first the factory. The factory has 3-4 layers. The doer, supervisor, manager of managers, and the most useless people like us. Right? Again, without whom the production is happening. That means we are the useless people. And we are there because there are inefficiencies in the system. Now, inefficiencies in the system because unpredictability is there. Now, whatever we are discussing will make things more predictable. So when systems are more predictable, then people managing unpredictability is not needed. So first of all, those jobs which are centered around reviews, managing unpredictability, or doing very repetitive routine jobs are the first ones which will vanish. And anybody says no, they will augment is crap. There is no way that those jobs can be preserved. The doer jobs are being eaten up by initially automation, and then you will have industrial automation with AI. Your simple Indian homes are typically dusty, but in USA, most of you would know these robots, these vacuum cleaners which are self-guiding. Some of these are even doing pocha, wet mopping, everything. So these are going to take away jobs. Humanoids are there in China. So those of you who have traveled to China would know, if you ask for food, when I asked for food today in my room, somebody came to give me, but in China, a robot will come, give the food and go. So have those jobs gone? They have gone. Somebody says that waiter's job is augmented. No, that waiter's job is gone. Tomorrow, lakhs of jobs in the industry of Zomato and all of this you will get these by drones. They will be drone-based deliveries. So jobs, the factory of the future will have highly automated processes, semi-dark factories. And I saw a factory in China called Chilu, 80 crore pills being made by 80 people. Today, no AI. This is process automation. And because highly predictable, they don't need so many QA people. And they don't need so many BMR reviews because it's all highly predictable, right? So this is one. Now, supervisors, are their jobs at risk? Absolutely. Manager of managers, are their jobs at risk? Absolutely. HR, finance, supply chain, are their jobs at risk? Absolutely. Will these jobs vanish? No, they will get redefined. What is being done by 100 people will be done by maybe 2 people. So his agent will talk to my agent.
So one managing director and 2 people, that's all.
No, one investor. One investor.
Okay, investor, that's...
Or a promoter, right? And individual contributors. I think now you can keep denying this. And because, again, I'm very happy I'm the right side of 50s. Those who are on the wrong side of 50s, for once in the world, our life cycle, we have come to a sign and we feel, हम तो निकल गए.
Lucky people.
I think I will keep limited to the pharma industry, my comments, because we are not expert in IT industry or automobile industry. This panel is purely on the pharma manufacturing and AI applications. The people is not going to reduce, neither people is going to increase. Same 400, 500 people per plant, based on the number of lines it is going to be there. I think what is important is that I would say DAA, like digitization, automation and analytics. All this combination is very, very critical. When you go to the greenfield, you have an opportunity to design your plant. That defines your people. You built up the right foundation, that defines your analytics. And part of that, you can use AI for certain things. I think major usage is in the development part, drug discovery, early development part. And we already seen, we talk about many application in the routine operations and the quality. So there is no AI versus human, but how we use the AI to enhance or escalate our decisions and right quality decisions. So it's not going to increase the people, decrease the people in the pharma. However, it will bring an agility for business to become more competitive. Cost, it's going to increase. So don't be in a myth that you're going to save the cost. It's not going to happen. It's going to have a cost. It will have certain cost. There will be recurring cost on that, but it will bring a agility to your business. It will bring an agility to take the right decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think now it is open for the questions from the audience. We'll take 2 questions.
There are going to be a lot of hands, but we'll take 2-3 questions and then panel will be here where we all can catch hold of them. We'll take a 2-3 questions.
Don't create your question on ChatGPT. Then I will also put it on ChatGPT.
I am a little biased towards my gender, so let's start with the woman. Where's the mic? Just borrow one mic.
So when you are asking questions, please tell your name, organization, and that question is for whom.
Okay. Hello, I am Dr. Manasa. I am representing Results on Digitization. We make Pharmix AI, a digital platform from Pharma. My question is, this actually I'm reading it from the FDA side. It said on May 6th, FDA launches one-day inspectional assessments to strengthen and expand oversight. So basically, they're going to equip their auditors now to use AI to inspect pharmaceutical industry. So whatever audits are happening at your facilities may not happen. It may start with data assessment first. So first, there probably, there is an article on this. I can send it to you later. But the understanding is that they'll do data assessment of companies first. So they'll inspect data. So having a robust QMS is what they're looking for. So if you can go back to this and read, maybe it'll give you more insight on how this is going to change inspections in India. Now the question that I have is, our country overall is very manual paper-based still. It is not at a level of digital transformation where data can just be picked up from QMS, DMS. A lot of manual paper is still being used in industry. So our first step is probably going from manual to digitization and then digital transformation and then the intelligence of AI is what everybody thinks. What do you see as a timeline for industry to move towards this? Because we're still very manual paper-based industry.
Question is for whom?
Anybody who can take this.
Would you like to answer?
I will not speak for the industry. Because the industry is very, very heterogeneous, right? There are people who make 1 crore pills a month and there are people who make 500 crore pills a month, right? So I will try and limit this response to a sample of the top 30, 40 companies. Right? Thanks to FDA, QC ko maar ke we made paperless. It is not industry wanted to do it. I don't think it was a voluntary thing. It was FDA ne hunter maar ke karwa diya. Why did no manufacturing not happen with the same pace? Why are we different? Because FDA ne nahi bola tha. Right? Now, right Jitendra? So none of it was voluntary effort. And pharma industry has always worked under external stimulus. We are not an internally stimulated, motivated industry.
Reactive all the time, most of the
Yeah.
time. Not a proactive.
Yeah, we are essentially a reactive, hidden, protected by very high GCs in the past. Now we are only jumping around because GCs are reducing. I think in the next 4 to 5 years, because of AI being a buzzword, and I'm not disrespecting AI, it is here to stay and we had better embrace it. Most of us on this stage here, and I speak for the larger organizations, would be largely paperless. Largely paperless, whether by internal or external motivation, including manufacturing, everything. Warehouse is paperless, QC is paperless, a lot of SOPs. So basic GMP softwares are all paperless today. Manufacturing, BMRs, and that also is for many people, it's a voluntary thing. See, we must prepare because when everything is on paper, on IT, right? My expectation 15, 20 years later is FDA will simply plug into a system from Washington and do a remote audit, not an inspector. Their agent will do the inspection and send you 483s automatically. See, no, I never imagined that 15 years later that I will see mobile movie.
Remote review is already going on.
Yeah, so then what is, so everything which is possible will happen, whatever is impossible will definitely happen.
Prashant sir, this question is for you. My name is Hardik. I completed from IIM Ahmedabad, and the way you described is a reality. Fortunately, we are on other side of 50s. I mean, yeah. So I mean, please give us how to survive. Please give us a suggestion how to survive, because you told you told something dedicated for manufacturing, and selling was remaining. So, is there any possibility in that segment? You told two sections. One is for manufacturing, and another is selling. So, is there any possibility in selling where we can survive?
Machine learning, I'll tell you, I headed HR for 3 years at Zydus. My most frustrating experience was getting people to learn. And it was the most demotivating experience. Mr. Belapure will recall, we were sending people to IIM Ahmedabad, since you mentioned that. And batch of highly experienced people, when they were given a case to IIM Ahmedabad, there's a case study method. तूने कर लिया केस, बता देना क्या करना है. No, companies, see, humans have to be motivated to learn. Machines don't have to be motivated, they will learn. Machine learning happens because it happens. Now, my belief is those of you who are willing to keep reinventing, the only thing is our gradient of learning and reinvention was much lesser. My father could survive with typing on his computer like this, right? That was his best speed, essay. We would type like with this, 2 fingers. Now that the pace is, when my daughters ask me, how do I reinvent? I said, I have no idea what jobs will survive the next decade. I have no idea. So, but only thing is, just be very, very responsive to whatever is happening. Keep learning. Keep reskilling yourself. Jobs will get redefined. Now, you see, Hindustan Lever is now growing at 2%. These are giants. You look at the NSE composition. You look at how within that what Nifty and Sensex composition, right? I bet in the next 20 years, the Sensex will not have any of these large FMCGs.
Prashant, I read somewhere now, basic skills you should go to again, carpentry and those things. That is going to remain. That will continue to have the jobs.
Sir, I know it's a lie. Humanoids will replace that. Humanoids will replace most of these very, very, right now you are seeing these videos are going around where workers are sitting with cameras and learning these, cameras are learning these basic skills. So all of this is going, stitching is a repetitive job. Carpentry is a repetitive job. So the CNC has replaced a lot of machining. So why will carpentry not be replaced by machining?
But design नहीं बनेगा ना.
Banega. So again, I'm saying, I do not know what will not happen. Because again, I'm saying, what is happening today, who would have imagined 20 years back that you will have a 1 terabyte mobile?
Sure.
I began by selling, my life by selling computers. 512 megabyte का computer होता था.
When computer came, that time we were scared, right? That we'll lose this world. So we managed that. Now we have to manage this AI fellow also. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. We'll take one more.
Okay.
If anyone has questions, take one more. Backbenchers, you missed it. You should have taken
I'm Kalpesh Desai from Neutron Systems Private Limited. I have a question about, Prashant sir has told that top 50 companies in India, right, they are on the journey of, mostly on the journey of digitizing data and at the same time using AI use cases. Then what about the rest of them? Right. What my question is whether they will be able to afford the investment which has to incur on AI, and they will be disrupted or they will be still there in the business after 5-10 years from now.
Everybody will be disrupted. Everybody, we will be disrupted. See, believe me, disruption has never happened from within the industry. Never. VCR was not disrupted by better VCRs. Your old memory types were not disrupted by new memory types. So all of us one day may be jobless because somebody will invent 3D printing of tablets or personalized medicine. Or you may have a gene therapy which will then address the disease itself at a genetic level. So your disruption for this industry will not come from pharmaceutical, somebody making a better pill. It will come from somebody eliminating the need for pill. So disruption will always happen. So the point is, yes, as you consolidate, even वो तो आप AI की बात कर रहे हो, Schedule M itself is rendering many of these not competitive. So why to talk of these people have not invested in basic infrastructure. So will they afford AI? I don't think they can afford AI because they have not invested in basic malpal.
I think, thank you, panel.